The KenPom rankings are out, and they absolutely love the Kentucky Wildcats.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we're going to be talking about my favorite thing on the planet, the KenPom ratings. They're out, and they absolutely love the Wildcats in a way that I honestly did not expect. Also on today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Tyran Stokes. What's the latest on him? Hello? Anybody home? Nothing over the weekend after some rumors swirling about a possible commitment. And then to wrap up the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the AP poll. We're going to go over the top 25, but there's a reminder that I want to give you guys about any sort of rankings that you see from humans this season. There's only one objective poll that you should be looking at. It's pretty obvious. We'll get to that later on in the show. This episode's brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Thank you guys so much for making Locked On Kentucky your first listen every single day. Want to remind everyone out there that we are free and available on all platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the show. And if you are listening on podcast, I would also appreciate it if you subbed there as well, wherever you are tuned in. Thank you so much for listening today. Okay. We're going to talk about KenPom ratings here. Ratings, rankings, whatever you want to call them. I'm pretty sure they're ratings, if I'm not mistaken. But if you call them rankings, that's okay with me too. Before we do that, though, real quick, Big Blue Madness. For those of you that did not get to see it, I'm assuming a lot of you did, it was awesome. I want you to go comment right now, if you're listening on YouTube, your favorite moment from Big Blue Madness over the weekend. It was incredible. If you're listening on podcast, at Locked On UK on Twitter is where you can find me. Ping me with your favorite moment, because there's a lot of different great things, man. Colin Chandler caught an insane lob, dunking over John Wall. That was iconic. If Chandler ends up being a stud this year, which I expect him to be, that's going to be something that Big Blue Nation truly never, ever forgets about. It already is, but I think that with what Chandler is going to be for Kentucky this season, I'm super excited to see how we look back on that moment, because it was super, super cool with Wall being there again with the lob, Jasper coming out with his dance moves with the 6'7", Trent playing incredibly, Cam hitting a half-court shot for $5,000 for somebody. It was all just awesome. Some really cool stuff. The dance moves, the hype, the little blue and white little scrimmage that they did. Obviously, we've got the actual blue and white game later this week, but it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I thought it was awesome. KenPom rankings, ratings. They are called ratings. I should go ahead and get that into my head. I love them. I absolutely adore them. I use them for so many different things when it comes to in-season, breakdown of anything going on with Kentucky, whether that be for matchups, whether that be for looking ahead for different things, whether that be for individual performances that I want to highlight. KenPom is the analytics website. Obviously, Evan Mia is incredible. Hasla is incredible. Torvik is incredible. They all have various different things that I really like about them, but KenPom has always been my go-to when it comes to breaking down college basketball analytics. I'm going to try at some point, hopefully before the beginning of the season, to put together my own little computer model, or just something really basic to kind of give you guys my take on kind of what basic college basketball stats should be like when it comes to projecting and different things like that. But the go-to source is KenPom. Absolutely. And preseason last year, it was about as accurate as it ever has been when it comes to ranking these teams. Which is all people really care about, right, is the spot that different teams are in. I think KenPom actually said this in a recent newsletter. Nobody really cares if West Virginia is preseason like plus 21.5 instead of like plus 21.91, right? You are going to care about whether or not they are inside the top 25 or not. But they were super accurate last year when it came to like final results for the NCAA tournament. And this year, I don't necessarily know if we're going to see the exact same thing that we saw a season ago when it came to minutes continuity continuing to plummet, when it comes to seniority being king over everything because of the COVID year and because of how players can transfer and they're getting all these extra years and different things like that. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be as dramatic as it was a season ago, but what I can tell you is that the ratings do absolutely love Kentucky. Preseason, the Wildcats are rated number 4 in the country. You heard me. Number 4 in the nation, behind Houston, who is far and away the best team in college basketball heading into the year, according to KenPom. And that largely has to do with the fact that their defense is so good, or projected to be so good. Number 2 is Florida. They're at 29.47 net rating. For context, Houston's is 31.14, which is incredible to see that gap already between 1 and 2 preseason. Purdue is number 3 at 29.16, and Kentucky is number 4 at 28.96. The most interesting thing to me, however, is not the raw net rating, is not the number 4 ranking next to their name here and the second best team in the SEC. It's that preseason, after all of Kentucky's defensive struggles last year, after wading into the 110s, 120s range defensively after that blowout loss against Ole Miss. Actually, it was like a 14-point loss, but it felt like a million. After all of the issues that Kentucky had, they are projected to have the 4th best defensive rating in all of college basketball. The 8th best offense. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, all of these numbers are incredible. This is a great place for Kentucky to start out, right? If these numbers hold, if Kentucky is somehow a top 10, top 15-ish offense, and they are a top 10 defense, the Wildcats are going to win this league, and they have a very good chance at winning it all. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these stats are going to hold. I'm not sitting here telling you that these stats are going to remain the same. In fact, according to KenPom, a lot of the numbers baked in are projecting that the rosters will be they're projecting these rosters at full strength, meaning Jayden Quaintance, who's probably not going to be here for the first few games of the year, maybe, we don't know. That's being baked in, saying like Kentucky is this good with JQ on the floor. So I think you're going to see this ebb and flow a little bit, but man, if it somehow comes back to where Kentucky is a top 5-ish team in the country and they play this good on defense, as good as KenPom is projecting them, it's going to be a pretty good freaking season for Kentucky. We'll continue to dive into this. Let's talk a little bit about Tyran Stokes, brief update on him, and of course the AP Top 25. We'll do all of that in just a moment. Before we do it, though, tell you guys about our friends over at Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and they keep moving the game forward. And this week's moment that moved the game forward is actually the one that happened on Friday. It's the lob, the overhead dunk of Colin Chandler over John Wall. Absolutely incredible stuff from Kentucky at Big Blue Madness. That's keeping Kentucky fans moving forward. And I don't just mean Kentucky fans for basketball. I mean for Kentucky fans, period. You see what's going on with the football program right now, okay? This is moving us forward into basketball season. It's finally here. It's pushing us towards it, and I'm so excited. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, continuing along here on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky. Lance Dawe hanging out here with you. Again, I really appreciate you guys checking out the show today. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast feed, I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. And as we continue along here talking about KenPom rankings, we're going to get to Tyran Stokes here in just a second. Real quick, though. Another thing about the KenPom ratings that I did not mention. So Kentucky, 8th best offense in the country preseason, 4th best defense in the country preseason. Adjusted tempo is supposed to be 35th best in the nation, which is still insanely fast. And then when it comes to the projected record and what is projected to happen for the Wildcats this season, KenPom's projected record right now is 24-7, 13-5 in SEC play. That is projected to finish second in the SEC behind Florida. As we've mentioned, on the show, and I think a lot of people are in agreement on this. That Florida game on March 7th could decide the regular season SEC title. I really hope we do get to have that kind of matchup there in early March. But 24-7, 13-5 is the projected record. But when you go game by game and you see how much Kentucky, what percentage, how do I say it? Man, I am drawing an absolute blank. The percentage of a chance that Kentucky has to win the game. What percentage of a chance does Kentucky have to win each game? If you go game by game, Kentucky's record will be 29-2. That was anticlimactic because I could not get the words out, but 29-2. Kentucky is favored to win 29 games. The only two that they do not have a 50% or better chance to win is at Tennessee on January 17th, 47% chance to win that game, 75-74 would be the final score there. And then on the road at Florida, 38% chance to win that game, 82-79 would be the final score there. By the way, fun note, the March 7th contest against the Gators is also a 82-79% or 82-79 projected final score in Kentucky's favor, with Kentucky having a 62% chance to win that game and Florida having a 38% chance to win that game. So the Wildcats are 4 points away from being perfect on the season, according to KenPom. Now, that's a very dumbed down way to put it. There are so many different things that kind of add into this, both positively and negatively. But the fact that the Wildcats are, again, 50% or better in 29 of their games is crazy. This could be a really special year, and I want us to just, I don't want to get too excited because I do think that Purdue game is going to be a struggle. I think Kentucky, right now, if I had to guess, Kentucky's probably going to lose it if they don't have Jayden Quaintance on the floor, and frankly, why on earth would they if the game doesn't count towards anything, right? I mean, even if he is 100%, I should say. But man, KenPom saying a lot of positive things about the Wildcats. Okay. When is Tyran Stokes, when is he committing? What's going on? Like, hello? Anybody home? Nothing over the weekend after rumors swirled that maybe he's committing Friday. Maybe he's committing on the day of Big Blue Madness. Maybe he's committing on his birthday, which was yesterday. Happy birthday, Tyran Stokes, by the way. Wasn't over the weekend, and absolutely nothing, no reporting, no, he's leaning one way or the other over the weekend, dead silent. And then reports come out today. On3 posts an article breaking down, here's what's actually going on. And it was basically a nothing burger of an article behind a paywall. I really don't have any issue talking about this. It's all over Twitter. Tipton, I believe is the one that wrote the article, said that Kansas is a real threat here, but Kentucky is still the team that's probably going to end up being the team that earns the right to earn the commitment of Tyran Stokes, I should say. The Wildcats are still in the lead. Nothing has changed. It's just that we weren't getting a commitment over the weekend. Just that's the case. There's nothing special about it. There's no drama. It doesn't seem like it's just, Kentucky's still a favorite. Not ready to give a prediction yet, but Wildcats are still in the driver's seat on this thing. And look out for Kansas. I don't know. That's kind of been basically the story for nearly this entire summer and fall. And now I don't really understand what's going on here. And now you can listen to whatever reports or opinions you want about Stokes and his personality and, playing by kind of his own tune, doing his thing to the beat of his own drum, whatever, him wanting to kind of do this differently. I don't know anything when it comes to anything when it comes to the way that he wants to go about this, whether or not he's got this, that, or the other going on, emotionally or just personality wise. I'm not prescribing to any of that, subscribing to any of that, I should say. But it is weird. And until we see a commitment date announced or a crystal ball put in by Tipton himself or somebody at On3 that is worth their salt, that is like definitive, this is what's happening, this is the reporting, get your popcorn ready, etc. I'm just going to kind of lay off this because it's just a weird recruitment so far. And I don't want to get caught up in saying, oh, well, he said, she said online. I'd rather just give it to y'all straight. This is the situation. Nothing's changed. And he didn't commit over the weekend, and I'm not quite sure why. It's weird. We'll leave it at that. Okay. I want to give you guys a reminder about the AP Top 25. After going over the AP Top 25, which, in case you didn't see, it's out. And Kentucky's ranked pretty high. Before we dive into all of that, though, tell you guys about our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, guys, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, you pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many different ways to play. I've built parlays, I've tried player props, and I've even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when I've got a little something riding on the action, whether I'm a casual fan, just watching the average, Monday night NFL game, or if I'm diving into the stats and I'm really digging into what FanDuel has to offer. They make the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. They do the heavy lifting. You can link all of your accounts in minutes. You can see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and you can finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. All right, continuing along here on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, let's wrap this up talking about the AP Top 25. So Stokes, we don't know when he's going to commit. Weird situation. KenPom, great numbers. Really like where Kentucky's at preseason. Spells a lot of positive things for the Cats potentially. The AP Top 25 is out. Now, this is nowhere near, at least at preseason, I think as egregious of a poll as the abhorrent mess that we've seen over in college football when it comes to the AP Top 25. It's nowhere near as bad. However, I do have some flaws to point out, and there's a definitive poll that you guys should be subscribing to if you haven't already. We'll get to that in a second. But first, Purdue, the Boilermakers of West Lafayette, they will be playing Kentucky in an exhibition game on October 24th. So we are now, what is it, 11 days out? That's so crazy. We are 11 days out from an exhibition game between two top 10 teams. Super exciting. Houston at number 2, Florida at number 3, UConn, disgustingly, at number 4. Don't get it at all. St. John's at number 5, Duke at number 6, Michigan at number 7, BYU at number 8, Kentucky at number 9, Texas Tech at number 10, Louisville at 11, UCLA at 12, Arizona at 13, Arkansas at 14, Alabama at 15, Iowa State at 16, Illinois at 17, Tennessee at 18, Kansas at 19, Auburn at 20, Gonzaga at 21, Michigan State at 22, Creighton at 23, Wisconsin at 24, and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, UNC, is at number 25. Kentucky, fittingly, comes in at preseason, into the preseason, number 9. They're seeking the number 9, the 9th national championship for this team. Trent Noah wearing number 9. knows the assignment. This team is going after a title, such a fitting preseason ranking. But this poll, this AP Top 25, with UConn in the top 5, with Michigan in the top 10, it's leagues below the one that we have here at Locked On Kentucky, at least in my opinion. We've been talking about this for at least 2 weeks now, I think. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this again. We have pulled up this graphic multiple times. This is the top 10. This is the only top 10 you need to concern yourself with. There is no other ranking that you need to care about that is done by a human other than this one right here. Now, I did not put this poll together, to be honest with you. That has Kentucky at number 3, that has Florida at number 1, that has Purdue at number 2, Houston at number 4, St. John's at number 5, Duke at number 6, BYU at number 7, Arizona at number 8, UCLA at number 9, and Arkansas at number 10. I didn't put this top 10 together because, honestly, I'm not the most accurate source when it comes to ranking these teams. The most accurate source on the planet is my father. He knows ball. And I think he knows ball here. Again, with Kentucky at number 3, preseason. This is the only thing that you need to concern yourself with throughout the course of the year. We'll be giving you updates. We'll be giving you more top 10s. Forget a top 25. Forget a top 20. Forget a top 100. You need 10 teams to be looking at week in and week out, I should say. This is the only one. This is the objective top 10. If you don't like it, argue with a wall. You're just simply wrong. Sorry. Final thing I want to note here to wrap up the show. Kentucky does have a very difficult schedule according to the top 10, the top 25. This is interesting information here from Rare Rookies over on Twitter, at Rare Rookies. He's got some great stuff over there. Kentucky leads the way with Arizona and Alabama in terms of ranked games on their schedule. Arizona, Bama, and Kentucky all play 12 ranked opponents. Very, very difficult for the Wildcats. Louisville, by the way, plays 6, but I mean, who's counting? Obviously, over there at Louisville, I don't even know if they know how to do that. That's a joke. I'm 1000% kidding. Please don't take that out of context as like I'm me being a jerk. Just trying to be lighthearted. Some of you don't understand that, but that's okay. Hey, that's why we love this sport. That's why we love this rivalry. That's why I love you guys. But yeah, 12 ranked opponents on the schedule. A lot of difficult stuff when it comes to quad 1 opportunities for the Wildcats. I believe there's like 18 opportunities for the Cats here in terms of the quad 1 wins that they could have on their schedule. We're getting closer and closer, guys, and I'm super excited. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Kentucky. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. Follow me on Twitter at @LanceDawe_. Follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Coming up tomorrow, could Mark Stoops be making a move to an ACC school? Reports might be indicating so, but I think not. I'll tell you why on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And of course, God bless. And go Cats. And don't you look at another top 10 outside of the one I've just shown you. That's all you need. That's all you need.